Hey, everyone. It is, what day is it? It is Thursday, June 3rd. Hopefully, everyone had a great long holiday weekend. I'm actually in between financial coaching clients and I had a little bit of a conversation with a client earlier regarding home ownership and the pros and cons of home ownership. In preparing for our next session, I sort of had some thoughts regarding home ownership, so I wanted to share them with you. One of the things that I said that I was going to do with her is list out the pros and cons. As finance people, of course, we are going to lean into anything that, and I apologize, let me turn my music down. We are going to lean into anything that is going to move you forward. So, by moving forward, meaning building and increasing your net worth, right? Obtaining assets, right? Having financial security, okay? That's security. And so a lot of security is built around having more things that have monetary value, okay, and less debt. And so real estate is like one of the easiest things to obtain. It's kind of the layman's right way to build wealth. Otherwise, it's building businesses, it's doing partnerships, it's getting into cryptocurrency, stock, right? Investing, which in itself has levels, overseas investing. I mean, the list can go on and on, but for the layman, right? Real estate is one of the easiest ways. So anyway, I'm only going to stand here a couple of minutes because I have to get ready for my next session, but I want to share, hopefully this works, share, where is it? Let's see. Let me pause this for a second and find my document. Okay, bear with me. Pause. Okay, I'm back. So you probably didn't even know that. So let's just really quick look at the pros and cons of home ownership, because home ownership isn't for everyone, right? That's just like anything else. And so it's not for you, then let's talk about and find other ways that you can build, right? Your net worth and acquire assets, which all leads to really just affording the life that you want. That's really what it's all about, right? Okay, so here we go. So pros and cons of home ownership. Okay, pros, if you look on the left, build equity. And that's if the value increases. We always assume that the value of your home is going to increase. But, if you're in an area that has a hit, or something happens, or values are overall declining, it doesn't necessarily mean that the value of your home is going to increase, or it's going to increase at a really good rate. So a tip is, when you're buying a home, consider the area, right? Because you want to be in an area where you're going to have that value increase, unless you're planning to stay in the home for a long time, or unless you just really like it. That's really what it's about. Okay, so you can build equity meaning that what you owe on the property is significantly less than the actual value. So if your home is valued at 200,000, you owe 100,000, you have $100,000 in equity. That's a part of your net worth. You can do something with that, right? You can make changes and renovate. It's your property. You can add on, you can remodel the kitchen, the bathroom, etc. Right? It's your property. You can do what you want to. So that's a pro. You have long-term payment stability. This is one of the things that I like. Everyone thinks that it's really the equity, and of course I like that, but if you think about it, rent is just going to continue to increase, right? The longer you live, rent just over time, it's just natural inflation, right? Rent is going to increase. When you own your home, you pretty much know what your mortgage payment is going to be month after month, year after year. Now, of course, your property taxes, insurance will impact that, right? If that's a part of your payment, your escrow, but for the most part, you have that same payment as long as you own the home. You have no landlord, right? So landlords, we go into your property, we're on your property, we can be all in your business, right? So you don't have landlords. And then, if you have a crappy landlord, things like that, not good. So no landlord. Tax benefits if you have a mortgage, right? So you can write that mortgage interest off on your taxes. Check with your tax preparer or accountant. There's no rules, right? Rental rules, can't have pets, can't do this, can't do that, can't park here, okay? You can't be evicted at any time. I've run into a number of tenants where their previous landlord sold the property, right, and they had to leave, or something within legal reasons, but you don't have to worry about being evicted. No pet restrictions, right? And I said within reason. I mean, if you have a tiger, or alligator, or something like that. Pause. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pause because I was being reminded of my next appointment, and for confidentiality, I didn't want you guys to hear the name of the client. So, okay, so pet restrictions, again, no alligators, tigers, lions, bears, all of that stuff, but you don't have that. And then you build credit, right? Because as long as you're making your payments on time, right? That's building your credit score, hopefully positively. Okay. Now the cons are, if you get a mortgage, 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. Okay. So that money's going to the bank or lender. At the same time, keep in mind, if you're renting, you're going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to a landlord or a rental company or, something like that. So unless you own the property outright or buy it in cash, you're going to be paying either way. The con is you can't move, right? When the lease is up, okay? What did I mean by that? Can't move when lease is, so when your lease is up with a rental, right, you can move. You can go anywhere you want. It's a little harder to do that with the home. You have to sell the home. You have to do all of that. So I'm going to have to reword that. But the flexibility is basically where I'm going. When you buy a home, there's a high upfront cost. You have your down payment. You have closing costs. You have moving expenses. You got to get this turned on, that turned on, all of that stuff. So, right, high upfront costs. Maintenance and repair with home ownership is, depending on what it is, no joke, right? The water heater goes out, leak in the roof, dishwasher floods the kitchen or refrigerator, right? The ice maker, something like that, floods the kitchen. So, you have insurance for some of those things, but some things you have to pay those costs, where when you rent, you just call, right? Call the landlord. It's their responsibility. Property taxes, you don't have that when you rent. Insurance premiums, insurance premiums for rental, right? Rental insurance is a lot lower than homeowners insurance. So higher insurance premiums, additional living expenses, and oftentimes higher. So, your typical is your utilities are probably going to go up because the space is bigger. So water, electric, gas, right? If you add on like a security system, if you have lawn service, Depending if you have someone clean, right, what you can do in your rental as well. HOA dues, if you say have a townhome or a condo and you have to pay for parking. So higher expenses because of the bigger space, but also more expenses. Okay. And then, it's a lot of work to maintain your property outdoor, right? Keeping the lawn, watering, fertilizing, all of that, if you choose to do that yourself. So it's work that you have to put into really just keeping your home as is. We're not talking about improvements. And then your taxes can increase, right? So your property taxes can go up, and that's out of your control. So, if there's a lot of building that's going on in your area, if they're big, expensive homes that are being built, that's going to cause your property taxes to go up. It also means the value of your property goes up. But again, my point is when your property taxes increase, that's not within your control, where when you rent is the landlord's problem. Okay. So here's some things that you want to think about. You want to think about, how long do you plan to stay? Okay. How long do you plan to stay in the home? That's the real big thing, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Okay. That's something you want to think about. If it's longer term, it's probably worth buying, right? Are you committed to put in the time and effort, right, and maintaining the property? And an alternative is a condo or a townhome. They're a lot less than a standalone property. And where do you want to live? Okay. All right. And how much flexibility do you want? So if you're looking for flexibility, low move-in costs, okay, little to no responsibility for upkeep, repairs, and maintenance, renting is for you. Let me say it again. Flexibility, okay, low move-in costs, and little to no responsibility for upkeep, repairs, and maintenance. Consider renting. And I'm rushing. However, if you're interested in building equity, okay, building equity to increase your net worth, right, to have assets, investing in the future, right, and having control over your home and your environment, then home ownership is for you. So the way I like to think of it is home ownership is definitely more stable. It's longer term. Usually homeowners continue to be homeowners. You don't usually find someone that owned a home and then all of a sudden they're renting an apartment, unless something happened, their life changed, their outlook changed, something like that. But usually homeowners continue to buy homes. And I normally think of renting as more shorter term. That doesn't mean you have to think about it that way. But my whole point again is what's best for you. Okay. What's best for you? What do you want? The money that you would take to make a down payment on a home, et cetera, you can do something else with that money, right? So, all right, I'm going to pop out of here. I hope that was helpful, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.